never short-winded. But it's going to be a short drive because I'm nearly to my destination. I was actually thinking about a conspiracy with Syd Barrett of Pink Floyd that makes a lot of sense to me. Certainly, as we know, aspects of Dark Side were dedicated to Syd in his absentia. The Wall was completely inspired by his mental breakdown that, like, destroyed him. And I'm sick and tired of hearing these Passover narratives. Like, oh man, he just got lost in the LSD, man. He might have been in a I think he was in a difficult struggle with his handler. Right? I think that the young rock star is learning that the industry wants to control all the musicians, and they want to control the rock stars, and they wanted him to do things a certain way. And I think that there was some sort of botched coercion manipulation attempt on Syd Barrett's mind, and he sacrificed himself to save the band. That's what I think Syd did. I think Syd sacrificed himself and turned himself into a wreck and a mess, incapable of fucking being himself or something like that. Right? Because I think he said no, and I think he had no choice but to take whatever hit saying no to them meant. Right? And he didn't know how to say goodbye other than to be present and then disappear. Like, you know, like, that's hardcore introvert. That's hardcore introversion. You know, and you look at the picture, right? I don't know if I ever saw the picture before until it popped up on social media. You know, and you know, it's just like, I would see a guy like that, and it would be a completely different fucking story about, like, what I would assume if I just met a guy like that, like, as a coworker or something like that. A guy just looks like that, right? Just like an average guy who's let life defeat him or something atypical, right? Without knowing a backstory of somebody who was meant to be, you know, one of the greatest names of his craft of that time. And we know very little of what was such infinite potential and for the direction the band would have taken, right? And I think the most evidence of this is when you look at the careers of Roger Waters and John, oh my fucking god, the other guitarist. You know, you look at those two guys, and it's like, one is pretty much like a populist type, which got him shoved into far right, and the other, he's you know, he's like big time, like, you know, traditional, like, Democrat type, right? You know, very, very liberal. whatever, like Labour Party or whatever the fuck. I guess it's British politics. I don't know. Maybe he's an American now. I forget these things. But yeah. Yeah, no, I think I think you see. Yeah, I think we saw a man who was defeated by probably agents of the Tavistock Institute, as it was a British affair. And his loss was a sacrifice to save the band, who went on to make masterpieces like The Wall, which are about what they do in this regards. And you look at how pop stars are today. Pop stars are The Wall. You watch all these fucking high-end R&B guys, like forget that it sounds nothing like Pink Floyd. Look at all of the performances they've done over the last 20 years, the way they do their dance moves, and various notable performances involve romanticization of dystopian uniformity, where they're dancing in a fascist or communist march example or authoritarian figure drill, right? And all of this is designed as to say, this is a lovely thing we want in the world. This is a way we want things done. The way things we want to be in the world. That's the way it's all projected. It's got a great cool factor. They're not portrayed as the enemy, even though their music or their political stances are very fuck the policey and things like that, and in The Wall, the rock star becomes the Nazi Hitler dictator, right? Because that would be the way you would do it to make someone so big like that. And who became a rock star in politics based on the celebration of building walls. Right? But who's the one that got elected on the idea of you being a part of a collective such as a wall, which is a collective of bricks pressed by mortar? That was everyone else. And thus we were driven by this binary choice, which is on a superficial level false binary. On a deeper level, the choice doesn't matter. It's just a psychic manifestation of the will of those who have surrendered their will to make this collective a thing. And so that's what we see out of this, right? That's the manner in which we see out of this. It's the reversal of the matter. And, I'm gonna have no real feelings about it whatsoever. I'm just gonna accept that sometimes we can be complete fools, reckless, dangerous fools. And sometimes we can be incredibly wise, incredibly capable, and incredibly wise. And you just have to push for your world in front of you. But you do have a responsibility to work your will in an informed, properly informed manner. Right? Because at the end of the day, it is quite something to be a superstar. And how, it's just like, a superstar, if they don't end up doing something to ruin their reputation, or end up not having enough control over the press to protect their reputation, they would otherwise, they could run for fucking president and win. Or their home state, they could win governor or senatorship of their home state. Right? Any fucking successful artist beloved by some facet of their own people, they could do it on likability as long as they say, I love you guys and fuck those guys. And there's got to be somebody that you got to say fuck them. Unfortunately, somebody has to be the scapegoat for the satiation of the other. Which is why it's almost a great thing that it's all just fucking politics, pro wrestling. Because, we have to mock a war to blow off some steam. What sucks is when we do a war for real, just because we wanted to blow off some steam. Let's be for real. We knew we were still going to be assholes after we took Afghanistan, because we wanted to blow off more steam than what we were owed. And nobody stopped us and said, no, you've had too much rage. But no, we were just like, it's not enough. Old enemies are after us now. Iraq! Right? And then 2003 happens. And we cheered. And we cheered. Because all the rock stars were behind it. Or something. Anyway. Yeah, long story short is, that it makes absolutely no sense to me that somebody who was already in a band on the precipice of achievement would on that level cut out, unless something crazy complicated before they started fucking themselves up turned up. Otherwise, after the first day of feeling fucked up and off, he would have called somebody and said, guys, I don't know what's going on. Maybe in a week, I don't know. I don't feel right. You would fucking at least let the guys know you're in some fucking way. No, but that's not the story, unless that did happen and they're lying about it because of other things. We don't know. If, that's an assumption based on, well, like I'm musing off the cuff here that I kind of feel like there's a conspiracy there. I don't want this to gain any legs unless it gains evidence, because I'm just laying out everything in my head that I think that I know about Pink Floyd and Syd Barrett on a whim to make this point. So anyway, I've rambled far too long about this. Almost 15 minutes. Probably could have made it 5. Anyway, see you later.